Good evening, poets, translators, and poetry lovers. A very warm welcome to Kritya-Poetry East and West. Tonight, we bring together poets from different countries, languages, and literary traditions. Poetry crosses many borders and reaches us through translation, memory, music, and silence, reminding us that while languages differ, the human imagination often meets in unexpected places. We are delighted to welcome poets from Argentina, England, Tamil Nadu, and Kashmir. Lorena Kurhinka, Patrick Williamson, Shavarinathan, and Mansur Banihali. A hearty welcome to all of you. Our sincere thanks to all those joining us live on YouTube and Facebook from different parts of the world. Our host this evening, Ms. Rati Saxena ji, is a poet, translator, and scholar, and the founder of Kritya-Poetry movement. I request her to offer her welcome remarks. Your mic is off.
Namaskar. I'm Rati Saxena from India, and this is our Kritya journey, which we have started in 2005 in India, and it was the first poetry festival in India and first poetry journal, web journal, bilingual. So in 2005 we have started, and it is actually nomadic festival. Means it was going to different states of country, and we were organizing poetry every year. And please switch off your mic, all of you. And then we have to. Our idea was inviting poets from different places with their language. We give more importance to languages. And that is how, from starting onward, from 2007, we have an International Poetry Festival, and we had almost 14, 15 international poets that time onward. So it is going well, very well. And in Corona time, it was online. After that, we decided to keep it online, and we could not start for some time, but this year we have started. Dr. Kamlakar Bhatt is a poet, translator, and activist in poetry, and he is actually coordinating everything. The command is in his hand, and Brajesh Singh is translating most of the poems when we present in English. So I am very happy to see you. Patrick, I know from because he was published in Kritya, and others actually. Lorena, your name was given by Alicia Patnoy. So it is good to get new voices and good new voice. Mansurji, he belongs to Kashmir, which is very important part of India. And Shabdinath, I heard about his poetry, and I think I do not know whether he has joined before Kritya or not. So we understand what we are, and we are still doing, and we hope to go further with the help of for the peace and for the love for the poetry, for the peace in human. Because whatever we do, we cannot bring peace by poetry, but we will try ourselves. So that is the main thing. Thank you, Kamlakar ji. Over to you. Aapka mic.
Thank you, Rati ji. Kritya Poetry East and West, although it began earlier this year, and we have had at least 6 sessions of poetry readings and 6 sessions of poetry book talk. And Kritya journal, of course, has been publishing some of the poems read here as well in the past couple of months. Of course, Kritya-Poetry Journal is a much larger journal publishing poetry from different languages, and it's a bilingual journal published in English and Hindi. So I'm very, very happy that we are today have four very interesting and diverse voices in Lorena, Patrick, Shabarinathan, and Mansoorji. Once again, I welcome you all, and we will now move on to reading and listening to poetry. Our first poet is Lorena Curhinca from Argentina. Lorena's poetry moves effortlessly between intimate memory, popular culture, everyday labor, politics, and I would say tenderness. Her poems observe ordinary life with extraordinary attentiveness, discovering lyric moments in places we often overlook. Lorena, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Kamala, for your kind words about my poetry. Thank you for the opportunity, Rati. I'm very grateful and happy to for this space, for reading and gathering, and for share with another poet from another countries, right? And thanks to Alicia Parnoy for put us in contact. So I'm going to read some, I don't know, 2 poems. I don't know how many I have to read it.
You have 20 minutes, so you should be able to read at least 4 to 5 poems, I believe.
Okay. I start in Spanish and then I read the version in English. Okay. I start with one poem from a book. It's called Una chica de Río. And it said, en el video Close to You, Karen Carpenter está sentada sobre una U gigante, las piernas flotando y moviendo la cabeza. Todos sus gestos son delicados. A veces quisiera tener esa imagen de mí. Una escena fácil de recrear, una voz tierna que dice cosas como revelación ganada. In the video for Close to You, Karen Carpenter is sitting on a giant U, her legs floating and her head moving. All her gestures are delicate. Sometimes I wish I could have that image of myself. I seem easy to recreate, a tender voice saying things like a gained revelation. Sorry. X-Men. Non Young-hui tiene los ojos azules, le dice el niño gato porque ve en la oscuridad. Y sus ojos brillan. Non puede cazar grillos sin necesidad de usar linterna. Unos médicos lo encerraron en una habitación sin luz. Le dieron cartas y una a una él indicó cuáles eran. El fulgor que emite será como la bioluminiscencia de las luciérnagas o como el de los peces abisales. ¿Servirá de señal, de apareo o podrá utilizarlo de carnada? ¿Cómo vas a leer historietas de mutantes con un aparato con pilas, tapado con sábanas de esos mismos seres evolucionados, si ya sos uno de ellos? Tus pupilas se estrechan verticalmente, ¿no? Verás insectos, mascotas, parientes con visión infrarroja. Podrás guiarnos según el calor que emitan nuestros cuerpos hacia otros similares. Un profesor nos dijo que en miles de años se nos caerá el pelo y que no tendremos más de 2 meñiques, en un salto evolutivo. Seguramente no calculó que alguien vería donde nadie puede, acaso sin temer. Mis hijos, entonces, ¿podrían desarrollar membranas interdigitales, como las ranas o los patos? ¿Querrán ser como Aquaman o como Nonk, tener adaptaciones inusuales, nadar a una velocidad mayor, soportar mayor presión acuática, o tendrán miedo de ser llamados por nombres que reverencien sus características y no poder alejarse jamás de tener ojos azules y de que el mundo todavía no esté listo para dejar de temer a la oscuridad? X-Men. Non Young-hui has eyes that are blue. They call him Catboy. because he sees in the dark, and his eyes shine. None can hunt crickets without needing a flashlight. Some doctors locked him in a room without light, gave him cards, and one by one he indicated which ones they were. With the glow he emits be like the bioluminescence of fireflies, or like that abyssal fish. Will it serve as mating signal, or could he use it as a bait? How are you going to read mutant comics books with a flashlight covered with sheets of those same evolved beings if you are already one of them? Do your pupils narrow vertically? No. Will you see insect pets relatives with infrared vision? Will you able to guide us according to the heat our bodies emit toward similar ones? A teacher told us that in thousands of years our hair will fall out and we won't have pinky fingers anymore in an evolutionary leap. Surely he didn't calculate that someone would see where no one can, perhaps without fearing. My children, then, could they develop interdigital membranes like frogs or ducks? They want to be like Aquaman or like None, have unusual adaptations, swim at greater speed, endure higher water pressure, or will they be afraid of being called by names that reverence their traits and never being able to get away from having eyes that are blue, and from the world not being ready yet to stop fearing the darkness? And another poem is that for another book that calls Pasajeras esas nubes, and the title is Procrear. Procrear is also in my country a program that is not working anymore, but it was a program national for making houses. No? For the worker people could do our house. ¿No? A uno de los albañiles que trabaja en nuestra obra le dicen Emoción, Rosarino, 36 años. Tiene una hija a la que va a ir a ver a Rosario, cuando cumpla 15 en septiembre. Hicimos un asado cuando llenaron la loza. Él cuidaba de que no se quemara la carne. Gesticula con espamento. Mientras comemos dice que gracias a Néstor y Cristina estamos mejor, que tenemos trabajo, así que nadie diga nada. Pero antes, él votó igual allá todos sabemos quién. Y que los chicos de la esquina también están construyendo. Nos mira, ustedes ni podrían hacerse esta casa. Agarra el vaso de Fernet, que está hecho de una botella cortada, se saca el delantal hecho con una bolsa de cemento loma negra, porque acá nada se tira. Para pasar el frío quemaron bolsas vacías en un tambor. El caño que nos faltaba lo trajo David, el constructor. No nos lo cobró. Vamos a promar con la lista que nos dio el gasista. Nos atienden los vendedores, hacen chistes. Aprendo palabras como mucheta, la anoto. El vecino de la vuelta pasa por la obra, les pregunta cuánto falta. Mariano le grita que van a terminar la casa cuando dejen de chorear. Él tiene un piercing en la oreja y 25 años. Quiero mirarlo a los ojos, pero me distraigo con su lóbulo. Parece más chico. Imagino cómo sería si fuese mi hijo. Después me corrijo. Qué demente ser madre cuando tenemos edad para ser hermanos. Procrear. One of the builders working on our build is called Emoción, from Rosario, 26 years old. He has a daughter he's going to see in Rosario when she turns 15 in September. He had an asado when they poured the slab. He made sure the meat didn't burn. He gesticulated with espamento. While we eat, he says that thanks to Nestor and Cristina, we are better off, that we have worked so nobody said a word, but that before he voted for you know who anyway, and that the kids in the corners are building too. He looked at us. You guys couldn't even build this house yourself. He grabs the glass of Fernet made of a cut-off bottle, take off his apron made from a loma negra cement bag, because here nothing gets thrown away. To pass the cold day, burned empty bags in a drum. The pie where we're missing was brought by David, the builder. He didn't charge us for it. We go to Promar, with the list the gas feeder gave us. The salesmen wait on us. They make shows. I learn words like mucheta. I write it down. The neighbor from around the corner stops by the bill, asks them how much longer. Uh, Mariano shouts out to him that they'll finish the house when they stop stealing. He has an ear piercing and he's 25 years old. I want to look him in the eye, but I get distracted by his earlobe. He looks younger. I imagine that it would be like if were my son. Then I correct myself. How crazy to be a mother when we are old enough to be siblings. And another poem. Quiero un poema alegre que tenga la intención del roce, de acercar materiales, pero que en la escritura se vuelve aflicción entre. Un intento podría ser. ¿Qué de esas alas? ¿Qué alas en el cielo? De la lluvia ningún fluir. ¿Qué fuerza golpea las alas? Observa el espacio abanico. De los pájaros, un espacio aire, aire donde no hay agua. ¿Qué de esas alas? No mires. Una lluvia, fuerza impasible. Hay de esas alas haciendo abanico. Líquido claro golpean. Airecito, viento nos dejan. I want a poem that has the intention of touch, of bringing materials close but that in the writing turns into friction between. An attempt could be, what of those winds, what winds in the skies, of the rain, not flow at all, what force hits the wind, observe the fun space of the birds, and air space, air where there is no water, what of those winds, don't look, an impassive force rain, oh, of those winds making a fan, clear liquid they heat, a little breeze wind they leave us. I'm going fine with time, right?
You can read one more poem, I think.
Okay. And the last one. Me encantan las historias de Instagram, sobre todo las de chicas que exponen su cuerpo semidesnudo, por una vez solo para ellas o para unas pocas personas, que por 24 horas asistimos a ese deseo juguetón, un poco armado, claro, pero ahora yo te veo y no me importa tanto el color de tu encaje, de tu corpiño, sino todo el tiempo de preparación, ese encuadre tan reiterado, pero ¿quién no sabe que aprendemos a desear copiando? La gracia es este capital erótico que se gestiona a sí mismo, que alguien más se ponga restrictivo. A mí contame qué canción estaba sonando cuando torcías la cabeza para que un mochón te tape media cara y la persona que te gusta se imagine corriendo con unos dedos torpes para poder mirarte y después besarte. Me encantan las historias de Instagram, sobre todo esas que tan cuidadas dejan ver rayitas, pocitos lunares. No dejes nunca que nadie te responda con un corazón predictivo. Sabé que acá te estamos mirando, no ya con ansias amatorias, sino viendo qué propone esa acumulación de selfies y de semidesnudas, qué imagen del mundo son esos cuerpos felices por 24 horas. I love Instagram stories, especially those of girls exposing their half-naked bodies, just for once, for themselves, or for a few people, who for the 24 hours witness that play for desire. At the stage, sure, but now I see you, and I don't care so much about the color of your brows, lips, but all the prep time that so repeated framing. But who doesn't know we learn to desire by copying. The fun of this, the erotical capital managing itself, let someone else get distracted. As for me, tell me what song was playing when you titled your head so a lock of hairs covered half of your face, and the person you like imagines running with clumsy fingers to be able to look at you and then kiss you. I love Instagram story, especially those so carefully they reveal little lateness, little dimpled moles. Don't ever let anyone reply to you with a predictive heart. Know that here we are watching you, not with amorous longing anymore, but seeing what that accumulation of half-naked selfies propose, what images of the world are those bodied happily for 24 hours. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorena. Thank you very much. Your poems, which I read in English, and also, although I don't know Spanish, I really love listening to them right now. These poems, even as I heard and when I read them, I think they remind us that everyday life is never merely ordinary, whether it is Karen Carpenter or a child with extraordinary eyes or the construction workers, Instagram stories, or birds in rain. All each poem kind of enlarges our understanding of contemporary life. There is both affection and questioning in your voice, and that combination stays with me, with the listener, long after the poem ends. Thank you very much for sharing these beautiful poems with us. And our friend Brajesh Singh ji has translated two of them into Hindi, and he will be presenting that. Brajesh ji.
Okay, thank you, Kamlakar ji. I have translated two poems. First one is, I want a poem that has the intention of touch. मुझे ऐसी कविता चाहिए जिसमें भाव हो छूने का, चीजों को नजदीक लाने का, पर लेखन के समय उनके बीच में टकराव में वह उनके बीच के टकराव में बदल जाए। मुझे ऐसी कविता चाहिए जिसमें भाव हो छूने का, चीजों को नजदीक लाने का, पर लेखन के समय वह उनके बीच के टकराव में बदल जाए। एक ऐसी कोशिश हो सकती है। उन पंखों का क्या? आसमान में वो पंख कैसे हैं? बारिश के, बिना किसी प्रवाह के, कौन सी ताकत पंखों से टकराती है? पखेरुओं के परों के फैलाव को गौर से देखो। एक वायु क्षेत्र, वहां हवा है, पानी नहीं है। उन पंखों का क्या? देखो मत। बारिश एक अजेय शक्ति है। अरे हाँ, पंखा बनता है पंखों से, जो टकराते हैं निर्मल तरल से और हमारे लिए छोड़ जाते हैं बहती हुई मंद मंद हवा। सेकंड वन इज, आई लव इंस्टाग्राम स्टोरीज। मुझे इंस्टाग्राम स्टोरीज पसंद है, खासकर उन लड़कियों की जो अपना अधनंगा बदन दिखाती हैं, सिर्फ एक बार अपने लिए और फिर कुछ और के लिए, जो 24 घंटे उन चंचल इच्छाओं के साक्षी बनते हैं। बेशक थोड़ी सी नाटकीयता, फिर भी मैंने इसे देखा। मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि तुम्हारी ब्रा के लेस के रंग से, पर तुम्हारी तैयारी के लिए बार बार फ्रेमिंग करनी पड़ती है। लेकिन कौन जाने कि हम नकल करना चाहते हैं इस मजे की। यह कामुक पूंजी स्वयं को मैनेज करती है, किसी और को ही बाधित होना दे। मुझे बताओ, कौन सा गाना बज रहा है? जब तुमने अपना सिर झटका तो एक लट तुम्हारा सिर आधा सिर ढक लेती है, और तुम्हें जो लायक करता है वह ख्यालों में डूबा बेतरतीब उंगलियां दौड़ा रहा है, जिससे कि वह तुम्हें देख सके और फिर चूम सके। मुझे इंस्टाग्राम स्टोरीज पसंद है, खासकर उनकी जो इतनी सचेत रहती हैं कि महीन से महीन लकीरें, छोटे डिम्पल और तिल तक दिखाई दें। कभी भी कोई तुम्हें ऐसे जवाब न देने पाए जो पहले से ही दिल से तय हो। समझ लो कि अब हम तुम्हें चाहत भरी नजरों से नहीं देख रहे हैं, बल्कि यह देख रहे हैं कि अधनंगे बदन का सेल्फी संग्रह क्या कहता है। 24 घंटे खुश रहने वाले बदन दुनिया को कैसी छवि पेश करते हैं। धन्यवाद। थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you, Brajesh ji. That was a very nice presentation, and thank you for the lovely translations. And I'm sure Lorena has enjoyed the Hindi translations of two of her poems. Thank you, Brajesh ji. Moving on, our next poet is Patrick Williamson from England. Patrick is known both as a poet and a distinguished translator. His poems are, the ones that I have read in the recent past, they are marked by quiet reflection, careful observation, and an openness to moments that might otherwise pass unnoticed. Patrick, we look forward to hearing your poems. Over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Kamalaka, for your introduction. Very kind words about my writing, very perceptive. So thank you for that. And also thank you to Rati Saxena. Get her name right. She's been, we've been in touch, as he said before, and she's very kindly invited me to read a few poems tonight or this afternoon. And I very welcome the opportunity to bring my poetry to you and to listen to the other poets here, especially in Hindi, which I don't understand, unfortunately, but it's a very nice language. So I'll be interested to hear more. I'm going to read a few poems here from a collection that I brought out back in 2023 and a couple of other poems. The collection is actually translated into Italian, but I'm not going to try my Italian because I'm sure that will be very difficult for me to read and not very good, not very comprehensible. Right, I think I have 20 minutes, so I'll see how we can do. The first poem is called Blind Man's Fog. We shoreline to the edge, and when there is no edge anymore, it becomes very scary. The snow that divides melancholy from a life in the smallest fraction of the possible, muffles all the sounds, disorients with unfulfilled light as we hesitate on indefinite curbs of the conscious. Feeling the presence of minute conflicts provides some comfort in nothing. All journeys are a bit more terrifying, feet stilled with indescribable sleep that softly placed its fabric over bodies, tried to make them breathe their last. And the next poem I'm going to read is a very short poem on the subject of salt. A few years ago, I was responding to a call for poems about salt, and I did them 2 or 3, and this is one of the shorter ones. And the title of the poem is Shakers. The shaker when you pour the salt. Shakers. Be free as the suspensive water you're in when dissolved, as immutable as stone when dry. Take that symbolic walk, dip your bread in remembrance of those sacrifices. Let us throw a pinch as we enter your house, rejoice in joining around a table, this eating together. Brotherly love, not raids. And a couple of poems not in this particular book, but a more recent one, which is called Get Up 8, published by Cyberwit Net Press, which is an Indian publisher, I think in a town called Allahabad. Anyway, this poem is called Lightly, Lightly. Sometimes I'm thinking without thoughts. It's not the mind's a blank, just I only sense the body's sounds and texture, if you see what I mean. Often when I can't sleep or during a mid-afternoon lull, after a nap, on Sunday usually, it's as if I'm looking for the next step or line, but nothing is taking shape. I just have to decide what to do with time ahead. The episode passes, duly noted. It's because I'm trying too hard, must learn to do everything lightly. Thank you. and an older poem which came out in a previous collection called Nel Santuario back in 2013. And this is a short poem which is called Rooks. Rooks. Banking the flanks, dense to horizon, never believed so many undone. Night is starless, where you go, no one knows, cloud concealed. See, we merely slack wire, tumble scree, shade encroaches. Head to hollows protected by grace. Damn the rooks, dive out of mist through the gates to the hidden pasture. Take shelter in the valley, there in the shadow. And now to go back to a few more poems, because I got more time than I expected, which is very nice. I'm going to read 2 or 3 more from this collection here. In fact, I think I'm going to read I'm going to read a poem which is from the collection which was written during the lockdown period and the COVID back in 2020. And as you remember, certainly with us in France and in Italy, you were restricted to your flat and only allowed to go out for a walk for half an hour or something. And this is a poem which is called Facing My Face. Listen to the sounds within, the sonar of the fridge, the clicking of the pipes as the heating starts, the irregular clunking of the cooling system, the ticking of the analog clock, the silent waving of trees in the wind outside, the air passing through hairs in your slightly stuffed nostrils, the rise and fall of your chest, your pulse when earphones plugged in, and the quiet without, broken only by the neighbor unlocking and locking 3 times each night before the sun sets, and children's shouts drifting through the wall, and your thoughts as you fall asleep, and then the same again the next day and the next, sans everything, sans fin, but you, where are you but at the center of this world that has shrunk and yet so distant? And another one. Okay, just 2 or 3 more, so I don't take up too much time. This one is called The Level Crossing, and was written after a visit to Auschwitz back in 2017. The Level Crossing. When the train passes, it sometimes takes your breath away, and behind an opaque window, the ashes are thrown on fields, in rivers, in ponds. Every day they find a new trial. I saw the train that seemed to break the horizon, make love with the wind. But under shower room ceilings, it's all very banal. They open the trap. You gasp. When the sun rises on each trip, sooner or later, you will have to come back. And 2 more poems. Thank you. This one is called The Here and Now. We are little things, God. We are almost nothing. Maybe we are memory, a breath of air, a shadow of passing men, our relatives. Maybe the memory of some lost life, a thunder that calls us back from afar. We go without knowing, singing for fame, and nothing remains for us of what we serve, with the blind awareness with which one swims. But snow can soothe your soul more than you ever thought. Let your problems drift into the vast distance, reminiscent of cherry blossoms, the cold of the frost contrasted by the warmth of the sun setting perfectly. This gives me a sense of hope. I just remarked that this is the second poem which talks about snow and frost, which is completely anachronous with the heat at the moment, but give you a little bit of contrast for if you cool
At
you
least
down.
you can break the heat
Thank
by
you.
these poems.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
And my last poem is called Komorebi, which is a Japanese word for a certain type of light. Komorebi, the light that comes through a forest, and it's a very specific type of light, and I'm trying to recreate it in this poem. Komorebi. Sun moves, and the shadow moves, in spare and excellent order, in the rivers a windfall light. Reveal things in a before and after, and in the wonder of a look closer to earth, the smile of two eyes. Under the canopy of our woods I come to find you, to talk, because in you I see my roots. Like a shadow, I am not. Thank you very much for listening.
Audio.
I'm so sorry. I keep doing that. Thank you so very much, Patrick. Your poems seem to invite us to slow down, and they move gently between thought and landscape, between silent and perception, whether speaking of snow or shadows or as in this last poem that you read, the filtered sunlight through the trees. You seem to remind us that attention itself in poetry is a kind of is a form of wisdom almost, and I must say that you make me want to read more and more of your poems. Thank you so very much for that very calm and luminous reading. Thank you, Patrick, for presenting your poems to us. And I think Brijesh ji has translated a couple of your poems, and let us see which poems he has translated. Brijesh ji.
Thank you, Kamlakar ji. I have translated last two poems read by Patrick. First one, the here and now. यहीं और अभी हम कुछ चीजें हैं, हे प्रभु, लगभग कुछ भी नहीं। कदाचित हम बस स्मृति भर हैं, हवा के एक झोंके से। गुजरते लोगों की परछाई हमारे अपनों की, किसी के खोए जीवन की स्मृति, एक गर्जना जो हमें दूर से वापस बुलाती है। बिना जाने ही हम आगे बढ़ते जाते हैं, शोहरत के गीत गाते हुए, और हमारे लिए कुछ नहीं बचता हमारी दी गई सेवाओं में से। ठीक वैसे ही जैसे कोई बिना एहसास बस तैरता जाता है, मगर बर्फ तुम्हारी रूह को सुकून दे सकती है, तुम्हारी सोच से भी कहीं ज्यादा। अपनी परेशानियों को बहुत दूर तलक बह जाने दो। चेरी ब्लॉसम की स्मृतियां, पाले की ठंड और डूबते सूरज की गर्माहट का अनुपम मेल हमें बस यही उम्मीद देता है, यह मुझे उम्मीद देता है। सेकंड वन इज कोमोरेबी, पेड़ों से जैसे बोला है जाती रोशनी। एक्चुअली आई थिंक इट इज ए जापानी वर्ड, कोमोरेबी। सूरज चलता है और परछाई भी चलती है, बड़े ही सधे और बेहतरीन क्रम में। धाराओं में झरती रोशनी चीजों को उनको पहले और बाद के रूप में दर्शाती है, और जमीन के करीब अचरज से निहारती दो आंखों की मुस्कान। अपने जंगल की छतरी तले मैं तुमसे मिलने आता हूँ, और बतियाने आता हूँ। अपने जंगल की छतरी तले मैं तुमसे मिलने और बतियाने आता हूँ, क्योंकि मुझे तुम में अपनी जड़ें दिखाई देती हैं। एक परछाई की माफिक मैं हूँ भी और नहीं भी। Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is philosophy like with the nature.
Thank you. Thank you,
Translate.
Brijesh ji.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you, Brijesh ji, for bringing Patrick's poem so very well into Hindi. And you are inspiring me to translate them to Kannada as well. Thank you so much for reading them so very well as well. Now, we are moving on to our next poet, which is my friend Shabarinathan, one of the most admired contemporary young voices in Tamil poetry. His poems often discover the extraordinary within familiar landscape, combining striking imagery with emotional depth and powerful political awareness and quiet humor as well. So this evening, we hear Shabarinathan in English translation. Welcome, Shabarinathan. We are over to you now.
Thank you. Thank you, Kamalakaji, for the kind words. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Yes, you are audible.
I'm very glad to be here. Warm greetings to the fellow poets, especially for the wonderful poems. And my sincere thanks to the Kritya Poetry Journal, Rati Saxena for organizing this event. I will be reading 3 or 4 of my poems today as time permits. My first poem is titled Minminiye in Tamil. In English, it's Firefly. It's a short lyric poem. Is it a poem about firefly? Maybe. It's also a poem about firefly, I would say like that. But at its heart, it's a kind of call of wonder, which is in a way is what every poem tries to touch upon, I guess. First, I will read it in the original, Tamil original, Minmini. யார் தொட்டு எழுப்பியது உன்னை எந்த கரம் உனக்கு பார்வை தந்தது எவ்வுடல் நீங்கி போகிறார் எவ்வுடல் நோக்கி பாய்கிறார் கனவா நனவா கருத்த வெட்ட வெளியில் எதை நினைவு கூறுகிறார் எதை மறக்கிறார் எதை நினைவு கூறுகிறார் எதை மறக்கிறார் எதை நினைவு கூறுகிறார் எதை மறக்கிறார் எத்தனை யுகங்கள் இருட்டில் அமர்ந்திருந்தாய் கண்ணை உமையாய் பின் எத்தனை நூற்றாண்டு காய்ச்சலோடு சுருண்டு கிடந்தாய் நிலத்தடியில். Now I'll read this in English. It's called Firefly. Who touched and woke you up? Which hand bestowed you eyesight? Whose body you are departing from? Whose body you are leaping towards? Is it a dream or reality in the dark, empty space? What do you remember and what do you forget? What do you remember? What do you forget? What do you remember? What do you forget? How many years had you been languishing dumb in the dark, my dear? Then for how many centuries have you been curled feverish beneath the ground? This one is translated by my friend Nugayur Asada, who is a fiction writer, poet, and a translator. The next one is called Church of Our Lady of Good Health. It offers a glimpse of small churches in rural, remote villages of Tamil Nadu. I was not aware, or I couldn't say I was not aware, but I was not conscious when writing this poem of the fact that the churches like this, like the one in this poem described, is basically linked to connected to the local Dalit communities, the oppressed communities in Tamil Nadu, especially it's the case in southern Tamil Nadu. But while I was writing that, I was not conscious about it. I was simply trying to write a quite descriptive poem. So this is called Church of Our Lady of Good Health. I like country churches While chicken play around the porch, in the steps sit little girls, passing their time picking lice, and almost always locked out those sacred chambers in the holy presence of drying bloody red chilies. Indolently swayed across the front, dried palm crosses, resident in the roof tiles of the vagabond squirrels. The white cat that nestled its kitten in the last year's manger is stretching itself towards the yellow star with blue dots. Nothing. No walls, no festive lights, no pews, just a few islands of light float on the cold brick floor. Old tiles require changing. Floor needs sweeping at least once a week. In the blackout nights, just like all other houses, there too a famished candle shines feebly. No one is giving darshan there. In his father's house, as an unemployed graduate, once in a while running errands, with sisters at marriageable age, lives Jesus. While Mary, returning from the tiring work in the woods, finishes her bath and sets out to get embers. Seems like it will rain. This poem was translated by poet friend Vivekanand Selvaraj. The third one is called All India Poets Meet. It's almost a prose poem. It tells a story about a fellow poet of mine, a friend of mine, who went to a city to read his poems in a literary gathering. The ones like conducted by the government institutions in India. So it explores his experience, which I guess can be completely understood by many Indian poets, especially who's been to such meetings. It's called All India Poets Meet. A poet from a remote inland of the south went to the snow-covered capital of a distant land to read and to present his poems. He felt inferior over his color, clothes, and even over his language desperately. But the moment he began to read his poems from the dais, an impulse caught within like a hot spring fountain, a poise and wakefulness like that of an eagle floating beyond the storm. A woman read his poems in English as he stood listening. It seemed then that even as he wrote those poems, someone he had never known before might have been by his side whispering them. They liked his poems. Some of them came to him and shook his hand. He was elated and proud, like a father from the village attending his daughter's convocation. Later, another poet came and read his poems. Only then he knew the existence of such a language. Now he saw the same fountain caught from a distance and looked up at the same eagle poised above the storm. He went up to him and introduced himself. They conversed in the English they knew. Poetry is like the moon, always accompanying us, he said. The other said, it's like hunger, something everyone understands. They had tea together, smoked together. At dinner, eventually they put aside the forks and knives and ate. They went to see some ancient temples and a dilapidated fort. Thinking about art and time, he felt he had something to say, but stopped midway. The other poet was quiet, as if he understood. There, at the stone steps of the newborn evening, sat two poets in silence. After receiving the 1,000 rupees of honorarium and the travel allowance, he bought woolen sweaters for elders in the house and handiwork ornaments for children. The other poet bargained in Hindi to get him a fair price, and they paid farewell. With some books which he bought there, smuggling amidst unwashed clothes, he returned home with a poem on the snow-clad land. There was no one at home. School might have been not over yet. Mom might have gone to 100 days' work. Wife must be in Anganwadi. All over the courtyard, the neem trees had strewn their dry leaves. He picked the broom and swept. The place resembled just his mind. This poem was translated by Mugayur Asita again. Let me finish this with one last poem. It's called Verdict. I have to say a few words about the context in which the poem was written. It was triggered by a specific moment. In Tamil Nadu, there was a long-term prisoner called Perarivalan, who was initially convicted of charges uh, like connecting somehow to the tragic assassination of ex-Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. And he was in prison for over 30 years. And a few years back, Supreme Court of India, concerning the long-term incarceration and good conduct, and especially the state cabinet's recommendation, if they released them, they released him, Peradivalan, after 30 odd years. And it was generally welcomed by the public on humanitarian basis. And I was working at that point of time in Deep South in Kanyakumari district in Nagarkoil. And that time I happened to see a group of partisans protesting against his release. And I understand there were political alignments and the different point of views and all, but I couldn't digest or I couldn't get the mindset behind the protest, which is basically against the freedom of man who had lost his entire youth, his prime time in prison. That deeply disturbed me. And this poem does not contain any direct reference to it, but still, that was what triggered me. It's called Verdict. Verdict. Now and then, through the gaps, the sky appeared. Great clouds were racing fast. Stopping the vehicle and stepping down, the forest guide said, "A prison deep in the heart of the forest." Me, my wife, a few more couples and strangers, we climbed down and went near to see. With stones dislodged and plasters peeled off, abandoned, a prison deep in the heart of the forest. Laid foundation in this year, inaugurated by Excellency so and so in that year. Neither name nor time matters here. Here one could take shelter from the rain. Otherwise, there is no roof, no doors, no bars. The man who lived here once might have touched the nearby wall and thought, "This is sturdy and will last forever." He might have even discovered that darkness is a metal. Now, among us, light floats, fluttering its gigantic wings. Great trees look down at the ruined walls. Yellow and blue flowers fall from afar. From the leaves drip drops of rain that fell who knows when. It was then for the first time I saw the Bhuta called space, inhaled its fragrance. As it embraced me, I held it back. Suddenly tears welled up. Time will release everyone, but without breaking the invisible walls, how can we ever be free? Everyone remained silent. It must have felt impolite or unsafe to utter something out there. My wife gripped my hands. "Can you feel it? Some animal is watching us from a distance. It is better we leave," said the guide. We boarded the vehicle and the wheels turned. The prison deep inside the forest went deeper and deeper still, like an unextinguished lamp floating into the depths of water in that night's dream. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Shabrinathan. This is perhaps the second time I am listening to Shabrinathan's poetry, and I have also I'd also invited him to contribute to a magazine that I edited some time back, where he had submitted some fantastic poems. And I'm aware how he moves between so many different words, even in the poems that he read today, from Firefly to a village church to this last poem about the verdict. A very, very compelling kind of poem Shabrinathan keeps offering us. Thank you so very much for bringing these memorable poems to us, Shabrinathan. And we have Brajesh, who has translated, I think, two of your poems to Hindi. So we'll listen to Brajesh. Brajesh.
Thank you so much, Kamlakar ji. I have translated two poems. First one is The Firefly, and second is ऑल इंडिया पोएट्री मीट। जुगनू, किसने तुम्हें स्पर्श किया और जगा दिया? किसने तुम्हें स्पर्श किया और जगा दिया? किस हाथ ने तुम्हें दृष्टि प्रदान की? किस काया से तुम विदा ले रहे हो? किस काया की ओर उड़ान भर रहे हो? क्या यह स्वप्न है या वास्तविकता? अंधकारमय निर्जन में तुम्हें क्या स्मरण रहा और क्या भूल गए हो तुम? क्या स्मरण रहा है तुम्हें? क्या भूल गए हो? तुम्हें क्या स्मरण रहा और क्या भूल गए हो? कितने ही युगों से तुम अंधकार में बेबस और खामोश पड़े तड़प रहे थे मेरे प्यारे, और न जाने कितनी सदियों से तुम सिकड़े हुए ज्वरमय भूमि में दबे रहे हो। अखिल भारतीय कवि सम्मेलन। दक्षिण के दूर दराज इलाके का एक कवि सुदूर बर्फ से ढकी राजधानी में अपना कविता पाठ करने और प्रस्तुति देने गया। उसने अपने रंग, वस्त्र और यहाँ तक कि अपनी भाषा को लेकर मन ही मन हीन भावना महसूस की। मगर ज्यों ही उसने मंच से अपना कविता पाठ आरंभ किया, उसके अंतस से उष्ण जल स्रोत के समान जोश फूट पड़ा। तूफान के ऊपर उड़ते बाज जैसी स्थिरता और जागरूकता की अनुभूति हुई। एक महिला ने अंग्रेजी में उसकी कविताएं पढ़ी तो वह खड़ा होकर सुनता रहा। तब ऐसा लगा कि उसने वे कविताएं रची थीं, तब कोई व्यक्ति उसके साथ रहा होगा जिसे वह पहले से कभी नहीं जानता था। वही शब्द फुसफुसा रहा था। लोगों ने उसकी कविताएं पसंद की। कुछ लोग उसके पास आए और उससे हाथ मिलाया। वह गांव के उस पिता की तरह प्रसन्न चित्त और गौरवान्वित महसूस कर रहा था जो अपनी बेटी के दीक्षांत में समारोह में सम्मिलित हो रहा हो। इसके पश्चात एक दूसरा कवि आया और उसने अपनी कविताएं पढ़ी। ऐसी किसी भाषा के अस्तित्व के बारे में उसे तभी पता चला था। अब उसने वही स्रोत देखा पर दूर से, और ऊंचाई पर देखा तूफान के ऊपर स्थिर उस बाज को। वह उसके नजदीक गया और अपना परिचय दिया। उन्होंने अपनी जानी पहचानी अंग्रेजी में वार्ता की। उसने कहा, कविता चंद्रमा के समान है जो हमारे साथ साथ चलती है। दूसरे ने कहा, यह भूख समान है जिसे हर कोई समझता है। उन्होंने साथ में चाय पी, सिगरेट पी। रात के खाने पर अंततः उन्होंने कांटे छुरी एक तरफ रख दिए और खाना खाया। वे कुछ प्राचीन मंदिर और एक जर्जर किला देखने गए। कला और काल के बारे में विचारते हुए उसे यह लगा कि उसे कुछ कहना है, लेकिन बीच में ही रुक गया। दूसरा कवि चुप रहा, मानो वह उसकी बात समझ गया। वहां नवोदित सांझ के पथरीले सोपान पर दो कवि खामोशी से बैठे थे। उसे सम्मान राशि और यात्रा भत्ते स्वरूप 1000 रुपए मिले, जिससे उसने घर के बुजुर्गों के लिए ऊनी स्वेटर और बच्चों के लिए हाथ से बनी सजावटी चीजें खरीदी। दूसरे कवि ने उचित मूल्य में दिलाने के लिए हिंदी में मोल भाव किया और फिर उन्होंने एक दूसरे से विदा ली। वहां खरीदी गई कुछ किताबों को उसने बिना धुले कपड़ों के बीच में सहेजा और फिर घर लौटा। उस बर्फ से ढकी हुई भूमि पर रची एक कविता के संग। घर पर कोई था ही नहीं। स्कूल शायद अभी खत्म नहीं हुआ। हो सकता है माँ 100 दिन के काम पर गई हो। पत्नी जरूर आंगनवाड़ी में गई होगी। आंगन में चारों ओर नीम के पेड़ों ने अपनी सूखी पत्तियां बिखेरी हुई थी। उसने झाड़ू उठाई और साफ सफाई की। जगह बिल्कुल उसके मन जैसी हो गई थी। जगह अब बिल्कुल उसके मन जैसी हो गई थी। धन्यवाद। थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you, Brijesh ji. Thank you for your very fine translations as well as very fine presentation of Shabarinathan in Hindi. Thank you very much. Our final poet this evening is Manshur Banihali from Kashmir. Both Rati Saxena ji and I listened to Manshurji's poetry recently when he read at the Bahumukhi International Poetry Meet in Bangalore, and we heard some of his poems in Hindi, and we felt that we must listen to him again, and that is why we have invited him here today. And Manshurji, it's a pleasure to welcome you to Kritya-Poetry. The stage is yours. Manshurji. Where is he?
He is there, but his video is not on, it seems. And he is doing one thing that maybe because of the technology, he is trying to enter in many things. Manshurji, can you hear us?
Manshurji?
आप सुन सकते हैं?
Manshurji, can you hear us? आपका आवाज, आपको हमारा आवाज आ रहा है?
His regular WhatsApp group on chat.
He is actually he joins, but he is not able to switch on. Yeah.
There he is. There he is. Yes.
चलिए आप बोलिए जल्दी से, आपका इंतजार हो रहा था.
आइए मंशूर जी, आपका माइक ऑफ है, माइक ऑन कीजिएगा.
माइक खोलिए. Technology is not many for poets. Technology is not comfortable. That is the problem. माइक खोल दीजिए, माइक खोलिए. हाँ, ओ इसमें
ओके. यस,
लेकिन आपका वीडियो बंद हो गया.
अभी वीडियो बंद हो गया.
वीडियो बंद हो गया.
मंशूर जी, वीडियो बंद हो गया.
अच्छा,
यस.
हाँ, अब बोलिए. थोड़ा ऊपर हो जाइए, थोड़ा ऊपर हो जाइए.
हाँ, राइट.
थैंक यू.
डू यू लिसन सर?
शुरू कीजिए.
वी कैन हियर यू. आप शुरू कीजिएगा, प्लीज.
Sir, most welcome to you. I have to read out some Kashmiri verses and then I will translate them into English, sir. Sir, my first couplet is. Hello, sir.
बोलिए.
हम सुन पा रहे हैं, आप पढ़िएगा प्लीज.
My first couplet is, sir, it is like this. It reads like this. It's in Kashmiri. Bazahir shakliyud bunch insan krhin kem print ken zan mahi taban magar pratkans insan stragan manz ake ranguk shuna ush khun doran. Apparently, people have different complexions. Some are white, some are black, and some are charming like moon. But in all men, the same kind of blood is running in veins of all men. So what matters is the purity of thought and rightfulness of deeds. My second couplet is Zaminas yudwao boru tainar gasankaj pod temaz gult gulzar bakai amantai ithad bapat chulazim boy bandut mai milzar. If we sow explosives and bombs in the earth, how we can get green pastures, vegetations, and blossoming flowers? So, in order to have peaceful living and prosperity, it is never possible without mutual love, harmony, brotherhood, and dialogue. My next poem is an ode to time because it has some educative values. Time waits for none. So the poem reads like this. Ay khoobsurat waqt, zara praar, kansi gasan shun yutrut anhar, zara praar. Meh chh sas badni hawsan muran fulay lejmaz. Jo tam phuli sori samanzar. Zara prar. Akh saat hasan chon baran rang wamezan. Khamosh safar chon pur asrar. Zara prar. Gulberg bargay chusgumut manshur pareshan. Dil mein un waraftar. Zara prar. Zara prar. It is like this. Oh, beautiful passing time. Wait a bit. No one has no one is so much committed, punctual, and handsome like you. Wait a bit till all the buds of my garden blossom and get flourished, and my dreams are realized. Oh, time, your journey is calm and silently measures the pacement of our accomplishments, deeds, joys, and sorrows. Each moment of yours is like a sharp-edged sword that cuts away the rope of life. O time, behold, I am unsure, my youthful days are passing away like a rose fading away, petal by petal. So wait a bit till I compose and resume. This is
इसका हिंदी वर्जन है मंशूर जी?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you could please read the Hindi version also.
ए खूबसूरत वक्त एक लम्हे के लिए जरा ठहरिए जितनी देर मेरे गुलिस्तान के तमाम फूल खिल पाएंगे ए खूबसूरत वक्त तुम्हारा एक लम्हा जिंदगी के ख्वाबों में रंग भर देता है तुम्हारा सफर एक तेज धार वाली कुल्हाड़ी की तरह है जो जिंदगी की रस्सी को आहिस्ता आहिस्ता काटता जा रहा है ओह वक्त मैं मंशूर हूँ मेरी जिंदगी के लम्हात गुजरते जा रहे हैं वेट अ बिट जितनी देर में अपने ख्वाबों की तकमील कर सकूंगा तो एक और पोइम है सर इट इज एन ओड टू द नाइटिंगेल इसका मैं पहले उर्दू में आपको इसके हिंदी में समास सुनाता हूँ तो फिर इसका मैं तर्जुमा भी आपको पेश करता हूँ तो कैन आई स्पीक सर
Yes, please.
मुझे बुलबुले रंगी नवा ये राज बतला दे कहां से तूने लाया है ये सोजो साज बतला दे तू शाखे गुल पे जब उल्फत के प्यारे गीत गाता है हया के बोझ से हर घोंचे गुल सर झुकाता है तेरे मिनकार से शीरीन नगमे फूट जाते हैं चमन के फूल अपना सर उठाकर मुस्कुराते हैं अदाए दिल भरी तेरी तो काबिल दीद होती है गुलिस्तान में तेरी आमद से गोया ईद होती है ये सुनिए जरा पसे आए न लेकिन खौफ के कुछ तनतने भी हैं पसे आए न लेकिन खौफ के कुछ तनशाइबे भी हैं अजारादारियों के और खुदसरी के तनतने भी हैं लगी है दौड़ मोहलिक हथियारों के बनाने की सफ़े हस्ती से गोया जिंदगानी को मिटाने की उजड़ते देखता हूँ जब मैं मकीनों के मकानों को जुलसते जिस्म जानों को बिखरते आशियानों को मैं जब मासूम बच्चों के जनाजे देख लेता हूँ तो दिल में ही मैं अपने अंदर खून के आंसू बहाता हूँ बदीन तवजी मेरे दिल की बेताबी नहीं जाती मेरे नगमों में तेरी तरह शादाबी नहीं आती इट्स लाइक दिस इसका मैं ट्रांसलेशन करता हूँ सर
हाँ जी
हाँ इट रीड्स लाइक सर दिस oh lovely nightingale where from you have got this catching and melodious voice that creates an atmosphere of joy and merriments. When you sing on the tender bough of the garden, the flowers raise up their perfumous heads and smile, whereas the tight-lipped and unbudding flowers feel some shyness and bow down their heads. Your voice, your sweet song give a new life to the garden. Oh, lovely nightingale, it is said that on the other side of the wall, I hear dreadful uproar of exploding weapons, missiles, and pelt guns. I hear the cries of innocent babies whose dead bodies are scattered on the roadside and wait for burial. They have become the meals of the kites, crows, and dogs. I see the naked bodies of the injured mothers drenched in the pools of blood with broken limbs. This is why my eyes are full of tears and my song is gloomy and cannot be melodious like your song. There is some, sir, one more poem is like this. सवाल ये नहीं कि गुलिस्तान कमाल में है, सवाल ये है कि हवा अभी भी इश्तियाल में है। सवाल ये नहीं कि कौन है हुनरवर कितना, सवाल ये है कि मुकद्दर किसका कमाल में है। सवाल ये नहीं कि खजर को है किस कदर दसगाह, सवाल ये है कि सिकंदर तिश्न हाल में है। सवाल ये नहीं कि जन्नत है तेरी आंखों में, सवाल ये है कि समंदर रक्सा सिफाल में है। सवाल ये नहीं है कि अमीरी है हासिल दुनिया, सवाल ये है कि जहन किसका एतदाल में है। सवाल ये नहीं कि सही नहीं जवाब किसी के पास, सवाल ये है कि नजाकत बहुत सवाल में है। Sir, it reads like this. Its translation like this. The question is now.
तरन्नुम में भी पढ़ते हैं क्या?
आप चाहें तो तरन्नुम में भी पढ़ेंगे सर।
हाँ, हम सुनना चाहते हैं, तरन्नुम में सुनना चाहेंगे।
So I will read out one more poem in Taranum, sir.
जरूर जरूर, yes.
This has relation to global peace, because nowadays we see everywhere there are explosives. You see everywhere we see restlessness among people. This has reference to that situation, and I will recite this is in Hindi, and I will recite like this, sir. लहू लहू रास्ते हैं सारे, निशा इधर भी निशा उधर भी, दबी दबी सी खामोशियों का समा इधर भी समा उधर भी। शेर अर्ज के ये वक्त का एक सानिया है, समंदरों की जुबान चुप है, सफीना अटका है दरमिया में, चटा इधर भी चटा उधर भी। शेरज के दिलों की आंखों पे ख्वाब गफलत बहुत है तारी, नहीं तो अब भी। दिलों की आंखों पे ख्वाब गफलत बहुत है तारी, नहीं तो अब भी। हरम के गुंबद से आ रही है अज़ां इधर भी अज़ां उधर भी, लहू लहू रास्ते हैं सारे, निशा इधर भी निशा उधर भी, दबी दबी सी खामोशियों का समा इधर भी समा उधर भी। शेरज के ये खेल आंधी का गुल न कर दे तमाम शम्हों की रोशनी को, ये खेल आंधी का गुल न कर दे तमाम शम्हों की रोशनी को। फसीले राह पे न जो है दोनों जानिब, जवां इधर भी जवां उधर भी, फसीले राह पे हैं दोनों जानिब, जवां इधर भी जवां उधर भी, लहू लहू रास्ते हैं सारे, निशा इधर भी निशा उधर भी, दबी दबी सी खामोशियों का समा इधर भी समा उधर भी। शेर अर्ज क्या है? धुआं बुलंद उठ रहा है काफी, मकीन सहमे हुए हैं सारे, धुआं बुलंद उठ रहा है काफी, मकीन सहमे हुए हैं सारे, हवा न शोलों को दीजिए है, मका इधर भी मका उधर भी, हवा न शोलों को दीजिए है, मका इधर भी मका उधर भी। एक शेर अर्ज क्या है? इसमें दो लफ्ज है, सूद और जिया। सूद होता है फायदा और नुकसान होता है जिया। वो सूद कर्जे का ले चुके हैं, हमारे खाते के नाम था जो, वो सूद कर्जे का ले चुके हैं, हमारे खाते के नाम था जो, हमें तो सहना पड़ा है लेकिन जिया इधर भी जिया उधर भी, हमें तो सहना पड़ा है लेकिन जिया इधर भी जिया उधर भी, लहू लहू रास्ते हैं सारे। शेर अर्ज क्या है? इस जर्द मौसम में खूबसूरत से फूल कितना जुलस चुके हैं, ये जर्द मौसम में खूबसूरत से फूल कितना जुलस चुके हैं, सुनाई देती है शाखे गुल से फुगा इधर भी फुगा उधर भी, सुनाई देती है शाखे गुल से फुगा इधर भी फुगा उधर भी। और आखिर में अर्ज क्या है? यहाँ तो मंशूर हर कदम पर, यहाँ तो मंशूर हर कदम पर, मुआहिदों की दुकान सजे है, मताए मेहरो वफा मगर है, गिरा इधर भी गिरा उधर भी, लहू लहू रास्ते हैं सारे, निशा इधर भी निशा उधर भी। Thank you, sir. This was Urdu Poem.
Thank you so much, Manshur ji. You brought a great amount of energy and beauty to end today's poetry sessions. You know, I felt, you know, listening to the way you read Kashmiri poems. I mean, your poems in Kashmiri. It appeared as if you know, your poetry kind of carries both stillness and intensity. The poem about Nightingale, especially, and the one that you read in Tarannum, and the one before that. These are all extremely graceful and something that carries quiet strength. I enjoyed each of them. Thank you so very much. Now, before we move on, yes, you want to say something? You're saying something?
No, sir. I'm thankful to your good self. You have heard my these humble verses. So nice of you. Have given me time to be here. Thank you very much. Most kind of you. If anything more, if you want more, thank you very much. Sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we conclude, may I request Ratiji to share her responses? Would you like to say something, Ratiji?
It was a wonderful session, and as usual, before session, I am always tense that who can enter, who cannot enter, and how they will find the way, because every time the new poets, and this is a new kind of this technology. So app is also, Joho is Indian app. It's not very modern or very strong app, but still we are using. Before this program, I always get tense, and Manshurji actually could enter at the last moment, last minute, and he has done good work. The same thing, Loretta. Lorena also, just last moment she could enter and she could present. So the beauty of this session was that we hear very many languages, and we hear the Tamil, Spanish, Kashmiri, Urdu, and Hindi, of course, and English, yes. And because of Patrick, English is like our Indians, we like that kind of English. And so that was also very comfortable for us. So this is actually not only poetry, it has a diversity of the languages. And at the last, we find that our direction, our thinking, our aim is same. We are always for the peace and peace for the world, and we all have different experience. Like I know that in Argentina and Latin America, the struggle is continuous, still continue. The same thing is there in Kashmir also. But the approach is different, of course, but they think of that. And for Tamil, actually, Sabrina has bought when there's like this poetry, the poets group. So he bought the reality of the people from the earth who are related to earth. That was very different. Though we all are poets, but we also have different presentation. We also have the high class and the not low class. We can't say the low class, but the people, the poets who are connected to earth are not treated as they are treated. The high class poets are treated in our group. So that thing also we should find out, that what we do that as a poet, as a poetry groups, or as a poetry, what we are doing, for whom we are giving importance. That is how this poem was very, very important, and everyone has connected to the point where he or she is there. The Patrick could remember the ice so that he can get the freedom of heat or sometime at least. So I am very happy to meet you all, and please keep in touch, and we keep Kritya going. And if you find that some good voices are there, connect to us, young voices, old voices, everyone. We appreciate all kind of poetry in different languages also. And Kamlakar-ji is behind this all work, so I need not give him thanks because anyhow, but he's thanked. Brajesh has translated, so thank to him, and all of you, 3 or 4, all of you, please, thank you very much. You join, and I know it is not easy to join. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Radhiji. We have traveled tonight across continents, languages, and cultures. Yet, as Rati ma'am has said, the journey has also reminded us how closely poetry brings us together. Our heartfelt thanks to all our poets, Lorena, Patrick, Shabrinathan, and Manshurji, and also to our regular translator, Brajeshji, for all the inputs and giving us this feast of poetry. Thank you all. And as always, although she wasn't feeling too well this evening, Ratiji made this evening's poetry session possible. She took the trouble of coordinating the whole thing and dealing with the technical end of Zoho although there are some hiccups once in a while. So she was able to resolve all that, and she is, I don't know how she brings so much energy into it. So thank you so much, Ratiji, for making this possible. Our heartfelt thanks to all the viewers who have joined us online from different parts of the world. May these poems continue to travel with us long after we leave this gathering. We will again assemble after 15 days for a book talk, which we will announce soon. Good night, stay safe, and keep reading poetry. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.